So when we've done Junzuki Notsukomi, the next progression is nagashizuki. So we're not actually using the rigid stance, we are progressing it into more of a free form, usable when you're sparring. So nagashizuki. Shizentai. When you go for nagashizuki or tomokomizuki, do not lead with the head. Obvious reasons. But from your hip and bringing your arms up. Same principle. Arms coming up, hip going forward, not the head. You put the hip in when you're doing the Zuki. When you're coming back, you try and keep this length. Don't bring this foot up. And then pull back. There are, I know, maybe 3 or 4 different ways to use this other arm. When you're coming up, when you're going down, when you're just covering your body, when you're using kamae for similar to Kihon number 1. So I'll move the Zuki out of the way so we can focus on this, but here. And here. And here. And here. So it's lifting, lowering, otoshi, yeah, down, or here. And even combinations, up and down. This is the most common one to use. Up and bringing it back down. Cover. And the cover is not done separately. Should be done with your body turn. Body turn. Also, you need to come up to meet the attacker's arm. So once more, going forward with your hip, bring your arms up, keeping the distance, come back. Also, keep your arms up until you're actually back into your stance. Not dropping and coming back. Not too long. Back. Hold. Come back. You want to introduce your zanshin awareness. So zanshin is before the technique, during the technique. This one makes sure you show after. The technique. So we need to practice nagashizuki with our partner. So if you take a fighting stance, yeah. So if Kash pushes in gakuzuki, yeah, then first of all we need to see it. We need to see that punch and move. When you see his shoulder going, I'm trying to keep this hand as loose out the way. I'm trying to concentrate on this forward arm. So you need to get this arm moving in quicker to do the punch. Yeah. Next one. Yeah, we need to do agi. So again, this needs to come up slowly, up to do our agi. So, up. Next one, we need to do our otoshi, which means we need to come up and down. Up, down. Then we need to do our kamae, similar to our Kihons, which is basically here, nice and relaxed, but just out. Next one is to come through. You can use a keri, a mai-geri, for this one. So if Kash pushes in and does the keri, yeah, we'll go in and use a lower cover. Once more for the mai-geri. So forward. And it's not, it sounds harsh, but it's touch turn. Touch turn. After all, the legs are bigger than the arms. So don't try and meet it with force. Try and redirect. Yeah, in. Turn your body. So. That's why we need our zanshin awareness before, so as we can see whichever techniques come in. And also zanshin afterwards to decide the next move. So an example of using your nagashizuki is Kihon's. This is Kihon number 7. Now I know some of you out there, you use mai-geri. The association that I'm with, we use mai-geri. So it gives us an opportunity to use this arm. So if we go through it slowly, so, yeah, lunges, jodan, cover. Because he's in fighting distance, I've just gone out of punching distance. So to do a keri, Kash has to pull back to do mai-geri. Okay, so start again. Here, as soon as I see him move, I move forward and turn. Yeah, right the way through. Cover, through. You can use shito, can use the fist. So once more. Yeah, cover, and off, and out, and up. So the other thing with your nagashizuki is making sure you go to the center. If you go to the side, it has a totally different effect. Same as before, lunge. If I go to the side, I'm not attacking. I've just gone round. I have to make sure that I go through to the center. 1. Wish. Thank you. Wish. So another example for utilizing your nagashizuki is in your pin and godan. So here. Here. So when you're going through your pin and godan, when you come to do this particular move, think of nagashizuki. Right, it gives you the correct posture. This not going away. I'm keeping my ground. I'm actually going into it, so everything's centered through here, not going back and then coming forward. Here. Also, when you're doing your nagashizuki, try not to forget about your senju-sen. Oh, forget this arm at the moment. Just think about this one. Try and still do your zuki to the center line. Especially when you're doing a combination. A renraku wazo, when you're using nagashizuki, is part of the renraku wazo. So try not to punch over here. Make sure you do your nagash, but you're still doing your zuki to the center line. Think of an attack, not just karate attack, but also think of maybe a weapon, striking down, forward and move. So you're moving your body off this center line. Forward and move the body out. So if you want to, if you've got like a stick with some foam on, just in case you don't quite do it right, don't getting a sword out, please, don't do that. But coming down, forward and turn through. When you start off with Junzuki Notsukomi, then you're doing your nagashizuki. You can see how the basic has actually transitioned through to making it a flowing move. And you can see where it's originated from to make it part of your techniques for when you come to do your sparring. Yeah, it doesn't take a leap of any sort of thought or any sort of diversion of that to make it basically, you can see where it's from. Yeah, as opposed to your Gakuzuki Notsukomi, that's a little bit more difficult, and we'll look at that in a future series.